rewatched the anime and thought I should recreate a recap for myself and for others. So here is season 2 of my favorite anime in less than 60 minutes.
Enjoy!
The first episode starts with Jinshi visiting the pure Consort Loulan and notices that she has more ladies in waiting than any other higher consorts. We also see some foreshadowing here and I love it. Then we see Maomao being busy in the palace clinic, distilling scented oils and making alcohol far away from the Jade Pavilion because she doesn't want to risk Gyokyo's pregnancy. Yep, the little bean is getting a sibling. Then we see Maomao receives Adele's book from the Madam of the Verdigris, which were meant to educate ladies in waiting. Though they got caught by Jinshi, who asked about them and even allows them this once, but Gaoshun took them away for censors. After some days, a romance novel starts spreading among the servants, and Maomao encourages Aileen, one of Gyokyo's ladies in waiting, to make copies of it to promote literacy. Even her friend Xiaolan decides that she wants to read and write.
Good girl.
Hey!
Then we see the little princess finding a stray kitten during her walk. Maomao tries and fails to catch it until a mysterious servant girl swoops in and does it for her. Maomao takes care of the kitten as it becomes the princess' favorite, and the emperor even lets them keep it, jokingly calling her Maomao or the administrator of thieves. Our human Maomao got very annoyed that the cat is named after her. A diplomatic caravan arrives, bringing new dresses, perfumes, and 3 more ladies in waiting for Gyokyo to balance out Loulan's huge stuff. As Maomao inspects the new gowns, she warns Gyokyo that certain dresses can give away her pregnancy. In the last day, Maomao and Xiaolan goes to the caravan too, and after she gets Xiaolan a gift, she goes to look for something herself. That's when they run into Shisui. She asked about the cat, and Maomao takes her to the clinic. The 3 of them become very good friends. Then Shisui mentions a strange smell from the north, maybe a blocked river, and then she shares her love for insects, which fascinates Maomao.
Wanna go check him out?
Yes, most urgently.
After the caravan leaves, scented oil becomes very common at the court, which alarmed Maomao, so she checked their ingredients and find that common fragrances like rose, benzoin, cinnamon, and others can actually harm pregnancies.
I will get consent before my next sniff session.
Stop sniffing people!
She linked them to past poisoning using lead-based powder, the same poisoning that killed one of the higher consorts Li Hua's child. Jinshi warns the concubines and Gyokyo orders a palace-wide inspection. Everyone was on edge, especially after the news that another concubine just died from poisoning. Jinshi started investigating her death. Meanwhile, Maomao hears about Tao, a palace woman who just vanished. Just like always, Jinshi comes to Maomao for advice, asking whether he should open a writing school for servants, a surprising idea that Maomao supports wholeheartedly.
Wait, where's your signature stare?
You're the ones who are acting bizarre.
Yes, well, it is somewhat unsettling.
He also sends her to the northern forest to clear out the poisonous mushrooms that the court ladies sometimes accidentally eat. In the forest, Maomao detects the foul smell Shisui mentioned. Back at the palace, she learns that concubine Jin, the one who had just died, once tried to poison Gyokyo, and at her funeral, a very disgraced concubine, Son, interrupts the ceremony, accusing Jin of ruining her life. She seemed to have similar poisoning symptoms, and Jin's ladies-in-waiting also have matching rashes. Maomao realizes that the culprit is a toxic fungus, but she suspects that Jin's death was not a suicide.
If you have something to say, out with it.
But she stayed quiet until she gathered the evidence to prove herself. And with the help of loyal eunuchs, Maomao uncovers a body buried in the forest where the smell was coming from. The body was confirmed to be concubine Jin, identified by her ornaments. And Maomao reveals that in the coffin, it was Tao instead of Jin, the palace woman who had gone missing. Then we see Maomao's fungal samples that solve the mystery. The Jinshi asks Gaoshun to take her stash away so she won't experiment on herself again.
I'll have you know all my plans are super interesting.
Confiscate them!
This episode starts with mirrors, as the foreign envoy gives them to the top 4 concubines. Maomao inspects it for poison, then Gaoshun brings Maomao a case of twin sisters. They were kept locked up, yet one of them was pregnant.
Please accept this.
Hello there.
Maomao Maomao thought about it, and after some bribery, she studied the room and figures out that the older twin used mirror and embroidery to create illusion of confinement, then snuck out to meet someone. Jinshi faced yet another challenge and comes to Maomao. The foreign envoys that had gifted the mirrors were searching for a legendary beauty who shed pearls like tears, from a story told over and over to them by their grandfather. Maomao recognized the description and reveals that the woman their grandfather was talking about was the madam at the Verdigris house in her prime years. They invited the madam and she confirms the story and even present a painting commissioned by the original envoy. However, the challenge now is finding a woman with same tall, eternal beauty to impress both envoys. Even the finest beauties were rejected, and unfortunately, it could become a diplomatic issue due to their control over vital trade routes. So it was very important to solve this issue. As Maomao contemplated the problem and the solution, she started considering a certain beautiful someone as a potential candidate. But why they called her a moon fairy was a mystery solved in the next episode, which starts with Maomao visiting the garden where Verdigris madam once performed. Shisui was there too, collecting caterpillars that become growing moths. These moths, when flying under the moonlight, created a sparkling effect, making the scene look outwardly.
Shisui, there is something I'm going to need your help with. There's a chance this might actually work. Maomao?
Inspired by this, Momo creates a plan with Shisui and Xiaolon's help. And at the banquet, she observes two envoys, Ayla and Aileen, then suspects that their intentions might involve a political marriage or a display of their beauty. During the event, Ayla attempts to approach the emperor, but her twin stops her, and the banquet ends without them being impressed. However, as the envoys leave in their carriage, they witness a mesmerizing sight.
This guy...
A figure dancing under the moon, surrounded by glowing lights. When Ayla demands an explanation, Momo names the figure Diana, referring a Western moon goddess. It wasn't actually a goddess though. Instead, it was a beautiful man with purple hair who had to pass under the water to reach safety, who for some reason can't dry his own hairs.
Now would somebody dry my hair?
For the moon fairy, Momo later explains that she basically used scented oils to draw moths around Jinshi, creating a magical moon fairy effect. Then she wonders who first slipped dangerous oils into the palace. She and Jinshi suspect the envoys themselves, but she also theorized that Suri, the one who created the resurrection medicine, might have been the one who taught Jin about poisons, though her motives remain unclear, especially regarding why she targeted Jinshi. She also discovers a small clinic behind the main doctor's office, run by older women, where ladies-in-waiting would go when they fell ill.
You shouldn't walk around while talking to yourself, or you'll fall.
So what was I saying then?
She figures they use modern hygienic method, but when she bumps into Jinshi outside the clinic and brings it up, Jinshi warns her to keep it quiet since only men can be official doctors. However, a supervisor at the clinic found out about her when Aileen, who has a cold, told her about the medicine Mama gave her. A little teeny tiny spoiler that might warm your heart, it's the fact that in the upcoming volumes, Jinshi is going to work so hard to make Mama a doctor, changing the whole gender-biased culture. And I also love the fact that he doesn't want her to be with him if it means that she won't be able to have her freedom. Alright, back to the episode. So Shinlu, the supervisor who now knows about Momo and her knowledge, asks her to help a missing servant from Li Hua's crystal pavilion. She'd been locked away despite a contagious illness. Momo, being a character who can't let injustice pass, finds the servant in a shed. She was very sick and was quarantined there by Shin, Li Hua's head lady-in-waiting. Momo suspects that there's something more going on, so she investigates and finds that Shin was collecting scented oils that can induce miscarriage. Shin hated Li Hua for becoming a concubine before her and resented her, and now she wanted her to lose another one of her child. But when Momo exposed her schemes, first she denied, and then she hit her and called her a lowlife. Though Momo proves her point and Li Hua stands up for herself, slaps and fires her on the spot.
Well played. The consort certainly changed.
Momo tracks seedling of the white flower plants that can be turned into an abortion drug. Then she points out that someone in the rare palace is spreading knowledge of those type of drugs, suggesting a larger conspiracy. The emperor later hears about Momo from Li Hua on how she saved her again. The next episode starts with Jinshi dreaming of his childhood, recalling an old man being taken away by an old woman and his angry mother. It was later explained to him that they were his father and his grandmother, meaning that the man he thought was his father was actually his brother. He knows that Mama will figure this out soon, but what he doesn't know is that she loves to stay in denial. At the palace penmanship school which Jinshi started, Mama hears the founding myth of Mother Royal, a foreign who birthed the first emperor, and then she learns about the Shrine of Choosing, where every new emperor was once tested. The shrine had been abandoned since an epidemic wiped out nearly all the previous candidates. She also learns that her adoptive father, Liu Min, sometimes visited the shrine when he had free time, back when he used to work in the rear palace, and that he had become friends with the eunuch who maintains it, who fortunately is also the penmanship teacher. The emperor never really got the test right, so he took Jinshi and Maomao to the shrine to attempt one more time. All they had to do was pass through the colored doors with specific instructions. Yet like every other time, he failed. Maomao asked the emperor about the previous emperor's eyesight, learning that only the previous emperor had good eyesight, and about the parentage of the previous emperor whose elder brothers died in an epidemic. She obviously cracks the code, and the emperor asked Jinshi to try again with her. She succeeded and took them to the end, which was a balcony on the upper floor. Then she explained that the test was to check for red-green color blindness, a trait common in Mother Royal's homeland. Admiring Momo's intellect, the emperor jokes about making her a concubine, nearly giving Jinshi a heart attack. But he worries about angering Lagan, and well, she wasn't his type either. Momo continues to wonder about Jinshi, this time no longer seeing him as just the emperor's favorite eunuch. But like always, she lets it go. In the morning, Hong Liang sends Momo to a storage shed for frightening Yinghua, but the shed become her new favorite and private workplace.
This is where I'll make medicine. That goes here. This goes there.
They discuss the rumors of court lady catching bugs, which led Maomao to suspect Shisui. With a lead from Shaolin, she looks for her and discovers a ticket of white blossoms that could be used for abortions, realizing that Shin had to be taught poison making from someone as she used those specific carbon oils despite having suitable alternatives right there in the palace.
Found ya! Come back here! Oh, you're so quick!
This is who they confuse me for.
She eventually finds Shisui catching bell crickets, but their encounter is interrupted by Empress Dowager Anqi, who helped create the unofficial clinic and banned slavery and the making of eunuchs. She partially came there to meet Momo and share her suspicions about a curse on the late emperor, as he had died under very strange circumstances. So later, one of Anqi's attendants takes Momo to the late emperor's residence, where both he and his mother, the former Empress Dowager, had died. The attendant reveals that the emperor's corpse showed no sign of decay even after years or so, making Anqi believe that she had cursed him. So she asks Momo to investigate this privately, and she agrees, but on one condition, and that condition was to let her inside the room of the previous emperor. That night she stayed with Soren and reflected on her role in the inner palace, and discovers more about Soren's literacy taste.
Lady Sweden, still young at heart.
Then Mama finds a yellow poisonous pebble inside a box that contained all of Jinshi's toys, which Soren had hidden away to prevent him from becoming too fixated on one thing, as his mother intended. In the Emperor's study, Mama smells something odd and peels back a wallpaper to reveal a secret painting made with orpiment and arsenic mineral, which explains why his body didn't decay after all this time. The late Emperor's painting hobby was kept a secret because it seemed unthinkable in other people's eyes for him to engage in such activity, and the room and the supplies were his late mother's gift to him, which were meant to protect him after he unexpectedly became the emperor. Anqi looked at the painting and recalls all the memories of her past. She was once a lady in waiting to her older half-sister, who the emperor had rejected and favored her instead, since he was afraid of the older woman and went toward the youngsters. She was so young when she bore him a son, but over time when she grew, he forgets about her and started to make other young women his victims. She tormented him for this, and at last she drove him to isolation. Later, Jinshi questioned if it was truly her that he painted on the wall, considering that it was the color that she used to wear, but Anqi chose not to know. Oh, and before leaving, she wants Jinshi to hide his favorite lady, who is Maomao, before someone else snatch her away. I honestly find it so funny that almost everybody around them knew that Jinshi likes Maomao, and some of them were even cheering for them.
I'm curious. What's your honest opinion of him?
Well, I think he's a good boss. As long as those rare medicines keep coming.
Would you care to elaborate?
In this episode, we are finally introduced to the new ladies in waiting of Kyokyo, and Yinghua corners Maomao to attend a ghost story night by the fire. Shisui was also there among the other ladies that were gathered in their closed room. One tale was of a mother and a child who died after entering a forbidden forest for food. Maomao later explained that they eat some poisonous mushrooms that glow under the moonlight, and to other villagers it might have looked like spirits. Shisui also told a story about a monk and a couple where the wife hunts the husband, and the story ends with two insects. As the 13th story, told by the organizer, begins, the fumes from the fire makes Mama dizzy. Suddenly a realization hits her and she opens a window to wake everyone.
I was so close, but you had to ruin things.
Back at the Jade Pavilion, Yinghua learns from Hongding that the previous organizer, who had relations with the old emperor and found gathering like that as the only fun she had died an year ago. It scared them both, and that night, the frightened Yinghua curled up with Maomao for comfort. Then we see another scene with Jinshi asking permission from Gyokyo to return Maomao to him, as he was going for a hunting trip in the northern province after receiving an invitation from Shishu, and was hoping to finally reveal his true status to her. She lets Maomao go after teasing Jinshi for still referring to her as that girl instead of her name.
Come to think of it, he never has called me by my name before. Not that I mind, but why is Master Jinshi so uncomfortable? Lady Gyokyo tortured him for 30 minutes before granting him permission.
When they reach there, Maomao notices that Jinshi lives in a sealed room and wears a mask outside. Then she discovers that Jinshi's family had long been served by the Ma clan, to which Gaoshun and Basin belongs to. Like before, even here, they were meant to keep Jinshi's identity a secret. When the food arrived, Maomao checks for poison, but Jinshi didn't eat anything, as it would become too much for him. But he ordered Basin to eat it, and learns the hard way what invigorating medicine really is. After the hunt at the banquet, Jinshi nearly collapsed from the heat and left the table for some air. Maomao followed and led him to waterfall. She wanted to treat his dehydration, but he won't take off his mask. And just before he revealed his secret, Assassin attempts to shoot him with FIFA, forcing Jinshi to jump from a waterfall with Maomao to escape. In the cave behind the waterfall, Jinshi performs CPR on Maomao, who couldn't possibly swim past the waterfall.
If you jump correctly, you probably wouldn't die unless you drown.
Well, I kind of did drown.
She wakes up, and to avoid catching a cold, she stripped down, creating an awkward situation for him. She gives him some butterbur for his dehydration, but they end up sharing it because she herself didn't eat much.
You eat some.
I will, thanks.
Then he explains that there were at least two assassins who were after him. They finally make a plan to exit the cave, and while trying, Maomao accidentally falls on top of Jinshi while she gets distracted by a frog.
It doesn't hurt much.
She tries to get off him, but he holds on to her. The 12th episode starts with Basin growing frustrated with the jokes about Jinshi running off with a servant and the inaction from Shishu. Meanwhile, Maomao tries to get away from Jinshi and accidentally touches something that she shouldn't have. He asks her to move her hand, and realization hits her that he wasn't a eunuch, and yet he was in the inner palace. She knew that this information could definitely put her in trouble, so she makes excuses not to listen to any of his explanations, insisting that it was only a frog. She irritates him, and he gets irritated. Putting her under him, he goes in for the kiss, but they're interrupted by Lihaku's dog.
Such a good boy.
After Maomao and Jinshi are rescued, Lihaku tells Jinshi that no FIFA were used during the hunt, meaning the attack was planned assassination. Maomao believes that she could figure out who did it, since none of the official guests had left. Then according to the plan, Lihaku brings a piece of blood-stained cloth to Basin, who sends out people for a new investigation. They planted clues, including fake broken arrow, to lure out the real attacker, and that's exactly what happened. In the forest, one of the assassins is caught digging for a hidden pipa. He gets startled when Maomao appears behind him, and Lihaku catches him, thanks to his dog who was tracking the smell of gunpowder. Later, Jinshi's true identity is revealed, and we find out that he's actually an imperial brother, a royal blood. Now back at the inn, Maomao thinks over the strange events, suspects an involvement of foreign envoys, and wonders why she always struggles to understand other people's feelings. That's when Jinshi visits her to apologize. She says that it doesn't matter if he is a eunuch or no, to her he will always be Jinshi. Then he attempts to reveal his secret, but before that he gives her the ox bezo that she wanted.
I can never thank you enough!
Sure.
Well then, good night!
So she gets distracted by them, opens the door to thank him, and then go back to lay down on her bed and daydream about them, forgetting all about Jinshi and his big
There are
secret.
only 2 people in this land with ka, or flower, in their names.
The 13th episode starts and we see that Xiaolon's service in the palace ends in 6 months, so she's already thinking about what job to take next. Mama thinks about suggesting the Verdigrease house, but Xiaolon isn't made for something like that. In a while, Shisui joins them and gives an idea. They will all work as a bathhouse attendants in the real palace. That way they could meet concubines and court ladies whom they never usually see, which might help Xiaolon get new opportunities. And she actually learned this trick from an older lady in waiting who found a good position that way. In the bath area, Mama's threading skills becomes a hit.
よーし手を探すぞーあー
Kyokyo also allows her to be there since she loves to get gossips fresh from the bathhouse. Rumors spread that Kyokyo, Li Hua, and even Lulan might be pregnant. Then we see 30 new eunuchs, former foreign slaves, working in those same baths, which somehow gives Mama a little flashback.
まあ、ジンシ様ほどじゃないと思うけどね。どうしたのママを。
別に。
ママを
考えるな。我は帰る。帰る。
Hakuyu, one of the triplets, wonder why Maomao, so blunt and direct, is trusted so much by Lady Kyokyo. But still she asks her to help her sister Sikyu, who is a little too shy. So Maomao invites her along to the bathhouse. There they notice Lishu again with her head lady in waiting, and Maomao gets curious and notices razor burns on her. So she offers her threading services to her as well. The head lady explained that nobody at the Diamond Pavilion actually pay attention to such details, and that Lishu avoids her own pavilion spot due to a presence of a ghost. And as it turns out, her pavilion might actually be haunted. So Maomao, Jinshi, and Gaoshon investigate it like the investigator they are. And while they were there, the previous head lady in waiting mocks Lishu's fear and belittles them. Once Jinshi got rid of them, Lishu admits that she'd been seeing a pale laughing face behind the curtains. That make Maomao inspect the bathhouse floor and curtains, and she figures the ghost being an optical illusion caused by steam escaping through the rotten floor and moving the curtains from draining hot water, with the face being a reflection from a magic copper mirror, a heirloom from Lishu's late mother reflecting the moonlight. I honestly find this scene so innocent because Lishu believed that her mother is angry at her because she no longer uses or cares for her mirror anymore. And you also see once again how badly they treat her. But if you're worried about her, I'd like to inform you that good days will come for her. After some more sufferings though. Then the attendant returns and the former head lady tries to snatch the mirror from her, prompting Lishu to defend it. This finally pushes Jinshi to act. He publicly scolds the former head lady in waiting, takes her unauthorized high-ranking hairpin, and tells her to remember her place, something he had delayed doing to protect Lishu from embarrassment. But he eventually put them all in their places. Then on another day, we see Xiaolon admiring the hairpin that she got from one of the lower concubines. But then she bumps into a eunuch who drops a rare ice block meant for Loulan. The ice breaks, and back in those days it cost a fortune, so it was a big crisis. But Mama is there to protect her. She promises to reuse the ice somehow, and when she spotted Jinshi, she asked for the ingredients.
If I don't act, I won't be able to sleep.
What a crime. You'll lose beauty sleep?
That's right. And my work will suffer because of it.
Well, we can't have that.
He agreed, but only if she makes a promise to actually listen to people when they talk and wear the hairpin he gave her.
That is unless you sold it off, of course.
I still have it. For now, anyway.
She promises, and he shares Loulan's favorite flavors along with the ingredients and access to the kitchen. In some time, Maomao crafts a frozen treat for Consort Loulan. Shisu arrived there and tried it too. All of them approved, and Maomao saved the day again. Later, we see Gyokyo commenting about the moment of her baby. Maomao examines it and suspects a breech position. She suggests a C-section, which is a bit risky, and the fact that only her adoptive father, Liu-min, is truly skilled at such operations.
Besides, I refuse to believe he's a bad person. After all, just look at how much our stray cat respects him.
Stray cat?
Gyokyo agrees despite palace politics, and Liu-min arrives 2 days later to set up in clinic. While preparing some medicine for Gyokyo, Maomao sees her father joining the doctor's office. He writes simple warnings about toxic makeup and shared them at the school. The schoolmaster mentions that a new eunuch had moved from bathhouse to avoid distractions. Then we see Maomao realizing that the older staff at the clinic were the victims of the former emperor. She also suspects that Xinlu is using patients to pass the knowledge about the drugs used for abortion, including the carbon scents. But she lacked proof, so she stayed quiet. Looking through the old books, she finds one owned by Shisui, so she starts to question her servant status. But she couldn't reach far as Yuri, the mysterious court lady / eunuch from the rear palace, confronts Maomao. She even threatens Shisui and tries to tempt Maomao with a resurrection formula. Maomao obviously gave in and went along with their plan. Elsewhere, Lacan met Shishu and the Moon Prince, who was actually Adbo in disguise. They discussed the FIFA used against Jinshi, but Shishu offers no help and stayed quiet. Then Maomao's disappearance soon distracts everyone's attention. That's why after Maomao goes missing, Jinshi starts searching for her. The quack doctor was the one who last saw her, and he remembers how the cat Maomao was acting weird toward the human Maomao. This helps Liu-min find a hidden note she left behind. It contains 2 letters. One means shrine, but the second is unclear.
Master Jinshi.
They took it to the Jade Pavilion, and the ladies there think that it might mean jade, and Sekio guesses that it could be Shisui's name. Jinshi didn't know if there were any maid with that name, but he could recall that the same character appears in Suri's name as well. But by the time he figures anything out, Suri had taken Maomao and Shisui by boat to a remote hot spring village. On the way, Maomao catches Shisui protecting Suri from a snake and gets to know that the two are half-sisters. She then figures how they communicated inside the palace. Maomao wonders if they had kidnapped her as a leverage against her biological father Lacan, but she isn't sure. Then they reach the hot spring village where Maomao spots a foreign envoy among the villagers. And she also meets the children and the people of the Shi clan.
Whoa! Are you gonna apologize for running into me or stand there like an idiot?
Watch it. You weren't paying attention either, Kyo.
Sis, you're here!
Then she also gets a word that a eunuch has gone missing, and that there is no record of a maid named Shisui in the palace, raising more questions. In the middle of all this drama, Gyokyo goes into labor, but thanks to Maomao's beach birth plan, Gyokyo delivers safely. Meanwhile, Jinshi investigates the missing eunuch Tian, who usually visited a graveyard for women that were victims of the late emperor. There he confronted Xinlu, who figures out Jinshi's true identity by his resemblance to the young former emperor, and attempts suicide.
Where was Maomao taken?
Disturbed by the hints of his true parentage, Jinshi learns the grave belongs to Tehao, a lady in waiting whose newborn daughter was exiled under some scandal alongside a doctor. Some dots starts to connect in his mind, and he goes to the Garnet Pavilion for some answers. But he spots Loulan's body double and confirms that Loulan has actually run away.
How strange. You should have 7 ladies in waiting.
Master Jinshi, please!
Speak! Where'd that little traitor run off to? Tell me where she is. Where's the real concubine Loulan?
Laoshan also reports Shishu missing, which just creates a bigger and messier palace plot, but they still didn't have any proof. That's where Maomao's cousin, Lahan, who's also the next Laklan heir, reveal evidence of illegal iron trading and embezzlement tied to the Shi clan, which were the sign that their rebellion is growing. He offers to investigate further in exchange for a little mercy on the money for the damaged gate that Lakan had tried to break after hearing that his precious daughter had been kidnapped.
Your papa's coming to rescue you!
In this episode, we see Maomao and Shisui bonding as they get ready for the harvest festival. Shisui also finds out about the hair stick that Jinshi gave her and asks if she could keep it, but Maomao denies her straight up.
If I wanted it, would you give it to me?
No way.
Aww.
Shisui then explains the village history involving Western settlers and the symbolism of fox, red and green paint mask, which could be linked with color blindness. Maomao soon realized that the settlers are from the same group as Mother Royals. Later at night, the villager burns last year's mask to make wishes. After the festival, Maomao remembers the resurrection medicine and presses Yuri for the formula.
Is there anything else? I have to know the correct amounts! Also, describe how your body felt after coming back to life. Did it take long to regain consciousness? Could you move right away?
I don't think Thornapple is necessary.
Yuri finally shares it and also included her theories on how to refine it, saying that the thorn apple was only to keep victims unconscious longer, not truly to revive them. Maomao was ready to offer herself for testing, but Yuri refused, and after she left, Maomao studied the formula and Shisui takes care of her because Maomao was just so lost in her book. After she was done, Shisui says that her dressing and massaging skills stem from the harsh training from her mother. Then when Maomao was alone and she had finished all her books, her attention was drawn toward an unharvested patch of rice by the storehouse.
Could it be?
Why are you by the window? Just opening it to throw you out, you noisy brat!
She gets curious, so Kyoyo, one of the Shi clan children, sneaks Maomao out to the storage house and picks a lock for them to enter. There she finds Yuri's lab and the FIFA workshop, but suddenly they are caught inside by Shinmei and the envoy.
Well, would you look at what we have here? It seems some filthy rats managed to sneak in.
Shinmei punishes Yuri for their presence in the storage house until her daughter Loulan intervenes on their behalf. This episode is where we finally get to see who and where Loulan was, and as it turns out that she was Shisui, Yuri's sister and Maomao and Xiaolon's friend. She'd been fooling everyone for quite some time. Even then, she convinced her mother to take Maomao as an apothecary, lying that she knew how to develop an immorality drug. At the Shi clan stronghold, Maomao learns more about their family history. She finds out that Shinmei, the current head of the clan, once drove out Yuri and her mother, forcing them to live as servants. And even though both of them were half-sisters, Loulan loved Yuri like an older sister. Maomao starts to believe that Shi clan's assassination attempts on Jinshi were revenge for the reforms he made in the rear palace, especially the changes that affected the powerful families like the Shi. Even though thoughts about Jinshi's true royal identity crosses her mind, she set them aside and focuses on the bigger picture.
Right. Can't worry about that now. My work takes priority.
She realizes that the Shi clan is not just angry, they are getting ready for the war. Meanwhile, Loulan reflects on how all her past efforts to change her mother Shinmei were in vain. She had tried to make her mother more kind and understanding, but it never actually worked.
Don't you ever forget! You are pure filth, you and that woman!
I've made a terrible mistake. She'll only become uglier.
Child!
As long as I'm her puppet, I'm powerless to stop her.
At the same time, the Han reports the result of his investigation to Jinshi. He reveals the Shi storage hold has been secretly expanding their facilities, a clear sign that they're getting ready for rebellion. The Khan then storms in, furious that Jinshi hasn't taken any actions yet. He's super mad at the danger being ignored and the fact that he couldn't protect Maomao.
I am sorry.
I'm the one who's sorry.
But thankfully, Lumen steps in to calm him down before things get worse. After regaining his composure, the Khan turns to Jinshi and addresses him directly as a royal. He tells him that it's time to act and asks him to send the Forbidden Army to crush the Shi clan rebellion before it spreads. Back at the fortress, Maomao finds out the resurrection drug was not the main goal. It was created by accident during research to make an immorality potion. Yuri had already tested it and proved it works. But Shinmei, who is obsessed with becoming becoming young again, demands a youth potion instead. Maomao was kept in a room and was only allowed to leave once a day. So Kyoryu tries to help Maomao escape by secretly giving her a wire, but he gets caught. To take the blame away from the child, Maomao bravely insults Shinmei and claims full responsibility for everything.
In fairness, I suppose I'll just have to punish you both for this, won't I?
Crazy old hag.
Following Loulan's advice, Shinmei sent Maomao to Daemon, a deep pit full of poisonous creature, as a punishment. But Maomao surprises everyone except Loulan by enjoying herself in the pit, even killing and eating one of the snakes there. Soon after, a guard arrived to help her escape. He was actually bribed by Suri and Kyoryu. The guard tells Maomao that the Shi clan had been secretly producing gunpowder and that the royal army is on their way.
Don't use the staircase on the opposite end. I hear they're making gunpowder in the basement. On the off chance of an explosion, you don't want to get—
Thank you for your help. The staircase along this way, right?
What?
Maomao explored the basement and finds the gunpowder factory hidden underground. She sees Loulan leading workers out and destroying the whole place.
This is not good.
They both find each other and Loulan opens up about her and Suri's past. She also talks about how she was treated like a doll by her own mother, used only for her appearances and status. Then Maomao confirms her suspicion that Shishui had been taking the abortion medicine to avoid carrying the Emperor's child and ending up like her mother. Then they enter a room and Loulan shows Maomao something very shocking. Several Shi clan children had been poisoned. Loulan says that she did it to spare them from suffering or punishment when the Shi clan is defeated. There's also this tiny detail that I loved, is that Maomao really can't see injustice. Even here, the way they animated, she was ready to throw hands and she had to stop herself from doing that because it was her friend Loulan. Maomao understands that Loulan's plan was never going to work, but it was too late to stop it now. She wanted and even tried to stop her, but Shisui had already made up her mind. So she gives her the hairpin Jinshi gave her and tells her to return it one day, as it was a gift, saying a prayer and hoping that she will survive whatever chaos that was about to happen. Meanwhile, at the army camp, Lacan comes up with a risky plan, but Jinshi agrees to it, even though it was not very honorable.
Master Lacan, the scouts are reporting in. The snow should stop by nightfall. We'll be able to launch our attack then.
Get the
Back at the stronghold, Shinmei continues being cruel to everyone. At the same time, Shishu remembers how he was ordered to marry the illegitimate daughter of the previous emperor, who was Yuri's mother, the child who was banished from the inner palace, and the fact that he had agreed to it for the sake of his clan. After the gunpowder factory explodes, Loulan rushes in to save Yuri. She takes full responsibility for everything and tells her father Shishu that he should do the same. As the royal guards attack the fortress, Jinshi orders that Grand Commander's Khan daughter, aka Maomao, must be rescued. He says this to avoid any future political trouble. Then he barges in and finds Maomao. She instantly asks him to protect her.
That blood.
Don't worry, I'm fine. It's not mine.
That's hardly fine.
It belonged to a snake.
A what?
I admit, I missed this atmosphere.
Crown Prince!
And in that moment, she finally realizes that Jinshi is the crown prince. But he tells her that he isn't anymore because now Gyokyo has given birth to a son. Unfortunately, Jinshi had to leave, so he left Maomao in Dehaku's care, who notices the children and asks some soldiers to safely take them away so that at least they could be buried with their families. As Maomao prepared to leave, she silently promises to carry out her friend's final wish. Then the royal guards attack the stronghold and Jinshi comes face to face with Shishu, who takes full responsibility for the assassination attempts on Jinshi's life and even fires at them. That's when 3 soldiers stabs him and he dies performing and laughing while remembering Shinmei as a young girl. After that, they search for others, and Loulan secretly takes Jinshi to where Shinmei and Suri were hiding, and finally tells him the full truth, that Shinmei had been once summoned to the palace as a concubine by the previous emperor, but in reality, she was brought in as a hostage. The goal was to control the Shi clan and stop them from continuing their slave trade. Because of that, the Shi clan had lost a lot of their value, but Shishu gains it back and advised them to build the rear palace. She explained how her father, Shishu, had given up everything for Shinmei. He even married the former emperor's illegitimate daughter as a part of a deal to bring back Shinmei, the woman he loved. She also tells Jinshi how Suri is a member of the imperial bloodline. After all of this, Shinmei becomes even more bitter and angry over the years. Then in a moment of rage, Shinmei tries to shoot Loulan, but the FIFA backfires and kills her instead. Before leaving, Loulan asks Jinshi for two favors. The first was to spare the members of her clan who had been exiled by her mother. Then to leave a mark of revenge, she scars Jinshi's face herself. In one last act of resistance, Loulan dances, setting up a performance and hoping to do better than her father. Basin and his soldiers find Jinshi, and after noticing his wound, he shoots her. She dances as the blood drips and finally falls into the snow, presumed dead. While Jinshi stands there motionless and Suri gets filled with sorrow. Later, Jinshi finds Maomao lying beside the supposed dead children. She has stayed with them, honoring the final request Loulan made of her. She was asleep and he notices her bruises and goes in to inspect them, but she wakes up and asks about the bandage on his face. After taking a good look, she gently changed it and tells him that he looks more manly than before, indicating that now everyone will see him as more than just a pretty face. Hearing her say that, Jinshi nearly lost his sanity, and just as the two were about to kiss, one of the Shi children starts to move. Maomao quickly calls for Suri to come help and asks Jinshi for warm water and clothes. Jinshi finally understands the deeper meaning behind Loulan's last request. The children had not been poisoned, but instead they had been given the resurrection medicine. Now as the new year arrives, Gyokyo is officially named Empress and the new crown prince is announced. Lewin, Maomao's adoptive father, remains working in the rear palace, but Maomao returned to the pleasure district, where she takes care of Kyoyu, now renamed Chaoyu, as he had lost his memories because of the poison. The rest of the children were adopted by Aduo. Suri is not punished because she has royal blood, but she is kept under close watch. Then we see Sekyu bringing letters from Xiaolan, who now works for her concubine's sister. In her letter, Xiaolan says that she misses both Maomao and Shisui, and that she wants to enjoy ice cream with them someday. This makes Maomao tear up with emotions. Shisui's body was never found. However, once the snow melts in spring, the search will begin again. Maomao hopes that they never find it. Then after a while, she starts off with her experiments again, but gets disturbed when Jinshi visits her. After they sit together, he asks about the hairpin he had given her. She tells him that she had given it to Loulan. Then he tries to pick up where they left off at the army camp, but they get interrupted for the 99th time. It was Xiaoyu. He brought Maomao a lizard, and as Jinshi was undercover, he quietly lay his head low, and when Maomao comes to check on him, he lays his head on Maomao's lap and rested there, while Maomao worked on her medicine, thinking that her legs were definitely going to fall asleep. Meanwhile, in a distant port city, we see that Shisui, now using the name Tamamo, is alive. Maomao's prayer come true, and the bullet had hit the hair stick that she had given her, but she trades it for a jade cicada ornament and prepares to leave the country. And that's how the season 2 ends. I'm really happy that the season 3 has already been announced and I can't wait for it. In the meantime, I guess we have to read the novels and the mangas. Anyways, that was it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening to me. Take care of yourself and goodbye.
I don't really wanna hurt you, but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change.